Part 52. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 519. Wu Yu originally wanted to exchange it with the Kanghai Yuan Kai pill. However, the most advanced heaven and earth mystic arts that can be exchanged in Yanhuang Emperor City are obviously not as good as those given by Yanhuang City Lord himself. Now he is ready to leave Dongsheng Shenzhou and venture into a bigger world, so if he gives him something, Wu Yu will not be polite. After all, if he succeeds, it can be regarded as earning face for Yanhuang Emperor City. For Wu Yu, whether it is the city lord or the emperor, they are all elders he respects very much, especially the emperor. When he went to Shushan, it was thanks to him that he could win a victory with dignity. Whatever help Yanhuang Emperor City needs, he will definitely not refuse. If you can take charge of Yanhuang Emperor City in the future, I will be happy. It's a pity that your ambition is not here. Haha, of course, this is a good thing. The Lord of Yanhuang City really thinks that if a talent like Wu Yu can stay, Yanhuang Emperor City will definitely become stronger. However, he also respects Wu Yu's choice. After all, choosing a future is too important to Wu Yu. If I have the opportunity to return, I will definitely repay the Lord of the city for his kindness, Wu Yu said sincerely. That's natural. Even if you leave, you are still a person of Yanhuang Emperor City. Now that the matter of the ghost cultivators in the East China Sea has been resolved, the Lord of Yanhuang City is in a good mood, and there are many more jokes in the conversation. Then, the Lord of Yanhuang City found 2 cultivation books and gave them to Wu Yu. Just from the outside, these are also 2 top-level heaven and earth mystical arts. One of them is pure gold and is made entirely of metal. It is definitely a material with spiritual patterns. The other one is pure black, and is also made of precious metal with spiritual patterns. Black flames are still flowing on this black metal. Even if Wu Yu has an indestructible body, it is very hot to touch. Both books of heaven and earth mystic arts look very extraordinary. The Lord of Yanhuang City said, "These 2 heaven and earth mystic arts cannot be exchanged with Kanghai Yuan Kai pills. They are the unique skills of my Yanhuang Imperial City. They are usually only passed on to the Lord of the city or the successor of the emperor. Now the successor has not been chosen. You are leaving Shenzhou anyway, so it doesn't matter if you learn it. This is basically the strongest heaven and earth mystic art. I am also very curious about what the scene will be like if you let your clones perform it together. The strongest heaven and earth mystic art. Only the successor of the Lord of the city and the emperor can practice it. These 2 points alone are enough to show that this heaven and earth mystic art is hard to come by, and it cannot be exchanged no matter how many Kanghai Yuan Kai pills are." Wu Yu took a closer look. There are several words embossed on the golden Dao book. This heaven and earth mystic art can only be practiced by the successor of Yanhuang City Lord. It is called, Central Heavenly Emperor's Divine Art. Just hearing this name, it is domineering, majestic, and has the power of the emperor. Yanhuang Emperor City was built by the people of the Yanhuang Ancient Country in the Yanhuang Ancient Domain. Obviously, this heaven and earth mystic art came from the Yanhuang Ancient Country. It is estimated that it has been passed down for a long time. Wu Yu did not open it, but looked at the Black Dao book. If he guessed correctly, this should be practiced by the successor of Emperor Marshall. Its name is, 10,000 Emperor's Furnace Divine Art. These 2 divine arts are very important. Wu Yu originally thought that Yanhuang City Lord would just give a few of them casually, but now it seems that this is not the case. These 2 heaven and earth mystic arts are very valuable, almost the best that Wu Yu can practice now. Performing these 2 heavenly and earthly mystical arts is also a symbol of the identity of the descendants of the ancient Yanhuang country. If you have the possibility to enter the ancient Yanhuang country, they will recognize your identity, the Lord of Yanhuang City said cautiously. So that's it? He thought about it very carefully and also thought about his own way out. Wu Yu couldn't help but feel grateful. After he took over these two heavenly and earthly mystical arts, he bowed deeply to the Lord of Yanhuang City and thanked him. No need. In fact, we also know what kind of person you are. Your attitude and protection of the Tongtian sword sect also let us know that you, Wu Yu, are a person who knows how to take responsibility and know how to be grateful, so we are very confident in you. You can come to the Yanhuang Emperor City, which is also a fate with this place. With this fate, it is also our duty to help you. At the beginning of the Dongyu Wu Kingdom, Wu Yu would rather choose to fight against the Ghost Emperor than to give up his relatives immediately. At least now it proves that he is right. It is precisely because of this that he has won the admiration of everyone, including the Lord of Yanhuang City. After chatting with the Lord of Yanhuang City for some more details, Wu Yu left the Yanhuang Ancient Well and went back to Kishan camp to prepare. Now many aspects have reached a bottleneck. If he can integrate these two mysterious arts of heaven and earth before the Shenzhou Tianlong battle, plus the power of the newly mastered Taoist tools, it is undeniable that Wu Yu's combat power will be very powerful at that time. If he is only at the 8th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm, he is not afraid at all. For him, getting the first place in this Shenzhou Tianlong battle is imperative, not for honor, but for pursuit. Chasing Luo Ben, chasing the immortal way. In the East China Sea, the waves are rolling, and the sky and the earth are the same color. In this vast sea, there is a warship heading west in the sea. This is a miniature version of the Yanhuang warship, which is golden and black. It is not big and can only accommodate about 200 people. At this time, there are about 100 people in the warship. A flag is flying on the warship, and the three words Pofanjing are embroidered on it. This is a camp in the Yanhuang Emperor City. The centurion of the Pofeng camp is named Lu Yuchen. Lu Yuchen is currently controlling the warships. From his position, he can see the coastline of Dongsheng Shenzhou appearing in the west. After seeing Dongsheng Shenzhou, more than 100 people on the warship showed excitement and reveled. This chapter is not over yet, please click the next page to continue reading. Finally back. After hunting down ghost cultivators for several months, we have finally come back after clearing so many. It's not easy. Now the ghost cultivators have basically disappeared, and we don't need to be so far away from home. I have accumulated a lot of merits and treasures. This time I will go to the Imperial City, and a pair of them will exchange for the same top-notch magic weapon. Ghost cultivators are inhumane. The way of ghosts and gods, this kind of cultivation method, will be extinct sooner or later, and it is gradually extinct now. In this way, although our contribution is small, it can be regarded as a great merit. Looking at the excited discussion of the Yanhuang Immortal Army, Lu Yuchen couldn't help but reveal a knowing smile. Killing and encircling ghost cultivators is their mission. Of course, it is also their own request to hunt them down. Many countries on the east coast of Shenzhou have suffered disasters. They see it in their eyes. They are young and hot-blooded, and there is naturally some blood feud between them and ghost cultivators. Now, the revenge that should be taken has been taken, and the ghost cultivators have disappeared. It is estimated that in the short term, even if there are any remaining, they will not dare to come out and make trouble. Shenzhou has been reborn after this catastrophe, and it will definitely be more glorious in the future. My Yanhuang Emperor City has a person like Wu Yu, who values friendship and loyalty, and will continue to dominate the world in the future. Lu Yuchen couldn't help but admire Wu Yu a little. After all, even the fairy beast Shenlong seems to have a good relationship with him. Commander Lu, now that you have made great achievements and returned triumphantly, are you very excited? Several young Yanhuang immortal soldiers were cheering next to him. Lu Yuchen smiled. Then someone immediately said, I think Commander Lu misses his Taoist partner more. There are two lovely children. I see Commander Lu sends several communication talismans every day. He misses his sweetheart so much. This time when he goes back, Commander Lu will not talk to us for at least a year. Haha, so sweet. I envy Commander Lu so much for having a fairy partner. You can go find one too. It's easy to say, but it's so difficult to find a Taoist partner. I'm not talented, and no one wants to follow me. Everyone was talking and laughing. Lu Yuchen was maneuvering the warship, getting closer and closer to Shenzhou. Thinking of his wife and children, he was actually very impatient. He hadn't seen them for a while, and the communication talismans couldn't relieve his longing. Soon, soon. Lu Yuchen couldn't help counting the days to go back. At the moment when everyone was talking and laughing, suddenly, time suddenly became dark, and the warship seemed to have entered the darkness. The sea and the sky disappeared in an instant. Everyone was shocked and completely stunned. At this moment, a terrifying force was pulling the warship. In panic, everyone deeply felt that the warship was being pulled into the deep sea. Lu Yuchen was shocked. As a centurion in the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm, his first reaction was to ask for help. So he immediately sent out the Benwei Fu and asked for help from the nearby centurions. He knew that there were other warships returning at the same time. However, as soon as the Benwei Fu was sent out, it was immediately swallowed up by the surrounding darkness. Obviously someone thought of this and prevented him from communicating with the outside. This made Lu Yuchen realize the seriousness of the matter. But he didn't expect it to be so serious. In the midst of a crowd of people and horses, the warship suddenly stopped in the depths of the sea and smashed on the sea sand on the bottom of the sea. The Yanhuang Immortal army finally stood firm. They were shocked and horrified. They looked around with some fear. Some people were already pale. What's going on? Can't even send out the communication talisman. Who is kidding us? Is there another ghost cultivator? Commander, what's going on? Everyone looked at Lu Yuchen for help. Don't panic, Lu Yuchen was still calm. It was pitch black around them. They were separated from the sea by the darkness. At this moment, Lu Yuchen was about to break the darkness. Suddenly, the darkness rippled. In the ripples, two gray figures emerged and came to everyone. Everyone found that they were a man and a woman, a handsome middle-aged man and a charming girl. They recognized the charming girl at a glance, because she was Qin Fuwei, who had once swept thousands of young men in Yanhuang Emperor City. But do you know that her real name is Tianhai Fuwei? Lu Yuchen was shocked. He knew that this was the 8th Emperor Yan and Tianhai Fuwei left behind. Now, there seemed to be a gray vortex in their eyes, and gray mist rolled over them, which was much more gloomy and terrifying than before. You too. As soon as Lu Yuchen said this, Tianhai Fuwei suddenly stretched out her fragrant tongue. I will start to devour these people first, let's try, she said in a delicate voice. Today there are 2 chapters in total. Don't wait. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 520. Wu Yu originally wanted to exchange it with the Kanghai Yuankai pill. However, the most advanced heaven and earth mystic arts that can be exchanged in Yanhuang Emperor City are obviously not as good as those given by Yanhuang City Lord himself. Now he is ready to leave Dongsheng Shenzhou and venture into a bigger world, so if he gives him something, Wu Yu will not be polite. After all, if he succeeds, it can be regarded as earning face for Yanhuang Emperor City. For Wu Yu, whether it is the city lord or the emperor, they are all elders he respects very much, especially the emperor. When he went to Shushan, it was thanks to him that he could win a victory with dignity. Whatever help Yanhuang Emperor City needs, he will definitely not refuse. If you can take charge of Yanhuang Emperor City in the future, I will be happy. It's a pity that your ambition is not here. Haha, of course, this is a good thing. The Lord of Yanhuang City really thinks that if a talent like Wu Yu can stay, Yanhuang Emperor City will definitely become stronger. However, he also respects Wu Yu's choice. After all, choosing a future is too important to Wu Yu. If I have the opportunity to return, I will definitely repay the lord of the city for his kindness, Wu Yu said sincerely. That's natural. Even if you leave, you are still a person of Yanhuang Emperor City. Now that the matter of the ghost cultivators in the East China Sea has been resolved, the lord of Yanhuang City is in a good mood, and there are many more jokes in the conversation. Then, the lord of Yanhuang City found 2 cultivation books and gave them to Wu Yu. Just from the outside, these are also 2 top-level heaven and earth mystical arts. One of them is pure gold and is made entirely of metal. It is definitely a material with spiritual patterns. The other one is pure black, and is also made of precious metal with spiritual patterns. There is still black flame flowing on this black metal. Even if Wu Yu has an indestructible body, it is very hot to touch. Both books of heaven and earth mystic arts look very extraordinary. The lord of Yanhuang City said, "These 2 heaven and earth mystic arts cannot be exchanged with Kanghai Yuan Kai pills. They are the unique skills of my Yanhuang imperial city. They are usually only passed on to the lord of the city or the successor of the emperor. Now the successor has not been chosen. You are leaving Shenzhou anyway, so it doesn't matter if you learn it. This is basically the strongest heaven and earth mystic art. I am also very curious about what the scene will be like if you let your clones perform it together. The strongest heaven and earth mystic art. Only the successor of the lord of the city and the emperor can practice it. These 2 points alone are enough to show that this heaven and earth mystic art is hard to come by, and it cannot be exchanged no matter how many Kanghai Yuan Kai pills are." Wu Yu took a closer look. There are several words embossed on the golden Dao book. This heaven and earth mystic art can only be practiced by the successor of Yanhuang City Lord. It is called, Central Heavenly Emperor's Divine Art. Just hearing this name, it is domineering, majestic, and has the power of the emperor. Yanhuang Emperor City was built by the people of the Yanhuang ancient country in the Yanhuang ancient domain. Obviously, this heaven and earth mystic art came from the Yanhuang ancient country. It is estimated that it has been passed down for a long time. Wu Yu did not open it, but looked at the Black Dao book. If he guessed correctly, this should be practiced by the successor of Emperor Marshall. Its name is, 10,000 Emperor's Furnace Divine Art. These 2 divine arts are very important. Wu Yu originally thought that Yanhuang City Lord would just give a few of them casually, but now it seems that this is not the case. These 2 heaven and earth mystic arts are very valuable, almost the best that Wu Yu can practice now. Performing these 2 heavenly and earthly mystical arts is also a symbol of the identity of the descendants of the ancient Yanhuang country. If you have the possibility to enter the ancient Yanhuang country, they will recognize your identity, the lord of Yanhuang City said cautiously. So that's it? He thought about it very carefully and also thought about his own way out. Wu Yu couldn't help but feel grateful. After he took over these 2 heavenly and earthly mystical arts, he bowed deeply to the lord of Yanhuang City and thanked him. No need. In fact, we also know what kind of person you are. Your attitude and protection of the Tongtian sword sect also let us know that you, Wu Yu, are a person who knows how to take responsibility and know how to be grateful, so we are very confident in you. You can come to the Yanhuang Emperor City, which is also a fate with this place. With this fate, it is also our duty to help you. At the beginning of the Dongyu Wu Kingdom, Wu Yu would rather choose to fight against the Ghost Emperor than to give up his relatives immediately. At least now it proves that he is right. It is precisely because of this that he has won the admiration of everyone, including the Lord of Yanhuang City. After chatting with the Lord of Yanhuang City for some more details, Wu Yu left the Yanhuang Ancient Well and went back to Kishan Camp to prepare. Now many aspects have reached a bottleneck. If he can integrate these 2 mysterious arts of heaven and earth before the Shenzhou Tianlong battle, plus the power of the newly mastered Taoist tools, it is undeniable that Wu Yu's combat power will be very powerful at that time. If he is only at the 8th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm, he is not afraid at all. For him, Getting the first place in this Shenzhou Tianlong battle is imperative, not for honor, but for pursuit. Chasing Luo Bin, chasing the immortal way. In the East China Sea, the waves are rolling, and the sky and the earth are the same color. In this vast sea, there is a warship heading west in the sea. This is a miniature version of the Yanhuang warship, which is golden and black. It is not big and can only accommodate about 200 people. At this time, there are about 100 people in the warship. A flag is flying on the warship, and the three words Pofanjing are embroidered on it. This is a camp in the Yanhuang Emperor City. The centurion of the Pofeng camp is named Lu Yuchen. Lu Yuchen is currently controlling the warships. From his position, he can see the coastline of Dongsheng Shenzhou appearing in the west. After seeing Dongsheng Shenzhou, more than 100 people on the warship showed excitement and reveled. This chapter is not over yet, please click the next page to continue reading. Finally back. After hunting down ghost cultivators for several months, we have finally come back after clearing so many. It's not easy. Now the ghost cultivators have basically disappeared, and we don't need to be so far away from home. I have accumulated a lot of merits and treasures. This time I will go to the Imperial City, and a pair of them will exchange for the same top-notch magic weapon. Ghost cultivators are inhumane. The way of ghosts and gods, this kind of cultivation method, will be extinct sooner or later, and it is gradually extinct now. In this way, although our contribution is small, it can be regarded as a great merit. Looking at the excited discussion of the Yanhuang Immortal Army, Lu Yuchen couldn't help but reveal a knowing smile. Killing and encircling ghost cultivators is their mission. Of course, it is also their own request to hunt them down. Many countries on the east coast of Shenzhou have suffered disasters. They see it in their eyes. They are young and hot-blooded, and there is naturally some blood feud between them and ghost cultivators. Now, the revenge that should be taken has been taken, and the ghost cultivators have disappeared. It is estimated that in the short term, even if there are any remaining, they will not dare to come out and make trouble. Shenzhou has been reborn after this catastrophe, and it will definitely be more glorious in the future. My Yanhuang Emperor City has a person like Wu Yu, who values friendship and loyalty, and will continue to dominate the world in the future. Lu Yuchen couldn't help but admire Wu Yu a little. After all, even the fairy beast Shenlong seems to have a good relationship with him. Commander Lu, now that you have made great achievements and returned triumphantly, are you very excited? Several young Yanhuang immortal soldiers were cheering next to him. Lu Yuchen smiled. Then someone immediately said, I think Commander Lu misses his Taoist partner more. There are two lovely children. I see Commander Lu sends several communication talismans every day. He misses his sweetheart so much. This time when he goes back, Commander Lu will not talk to us for at least a year. Haha, so sweet. I envy Commander Lu so much for having a fairy partner. You can go find one too. It's easy to say, but it's so difficult to find a Taoist partner. I'm not talented, and no one wants to follow me. Everyone was talking and laughing. Lu Yuchen was maneuvering the warship, getting closer and closer to Shenzhou. Thinking of his wife and children, he was actually very impatient. He hadn't seen them for a while, and the communication talismans couldn't relieve his longing. Soon, soon. Lu Yuchen couldn't help counting the days to go back. At the moment when everyone was talking and laughing, suddenly, time suddenly became dark, and the warship seemed to have entered the darkness. The sea and the sky disappeared in an instant. Everyone was shocked and completely stunned. At this moment, a terrifying force was pulling the warship. In panic, everyone deeply felt that the warship was being pulled into the deep sea. Lu Yuchen was shocked. As a centurion in the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm, his first reaction was to ask for help. So he immediately sent out the Benwei Fu and asked for help from the nearby centurions. He knew that there were other warships returning at the same time. However, as soon as the Benwei Fu was sent out, it was immediately swallowed up by the surrounding darkness. Obviously someone thought of this and prevented him from communicating with the outside. This made Lu Yuchen realize the seriousness of the matter. But he didn't expect it to be so serious. In the midst of a crowd of people and horses, the warship suddenly stopped in the depths of the sea and smashed on the sea sand on the bottom of the sea. The Yanhuang immortal army finally stood firm. They were shocked and horrified. They looked around with some fear. Some people were already pale. What's going on? Can't even send out the communication talisman. Who is kidding us? Is there another ghost cultivator? Commander, what's going on? Everyone looked at Lu Yuchen for help. Don't panic, Lu Yuchen was still calm. Now it was pitch black around them. They were separated from the sea by the darkness. At this moment, Lu Yuchen was about to break the darkness. Suddenly, the darkness rippled. In the ripples, two gray figures emerged and came to everyone. Everyone found that they were a man and a woman, a handsome middle-aged man and a charming girl. They recognized the charming girl at a glance, because she was Qin Fuwei, who had once swept thousands of young men in Yanhuang Emperor City. But do you know that her real name is Tianhai Yufuwei? Lu Yuchen was shocked. He knew that this was the 8th Emperor Yan and Tianhai Yufuwei left behind. Now, there seemed to be a gray vortex in their eyes, and gray mist rolled over them, which was much more gloomy and terrifying than before. You too. As soon as Lu Yuchen said this, Tianhai Yufuwei suddenly stretched out her fragrant tongue. I will start to devour these people first, let's try, she said in a delicate voice. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 521. In the middle of Dongsheng Shenzhou, the sky is filled with white clouds. The city in the sky, the city of Emperor Yanhuang, looms in the endless clouds and mist, like the legendary heaven. From time to time, various ascetics came and went from Yanhuang Emperor City. Among them, there is also the Yanhuang immortal army guarding them. After the war between ghosts and gods, Yanhuang Emperor City glowed with even more amazing vitality. There is a piece of land under the Yanhuang Emperor City that is shadowed by the Yanhuang Emperor City. The vegetation here is lush and it is a forest. In the forest, birds and beasts were running around very happily. Because the Yanhuang Emperor City was surrounded by ancient aura, even the birds and beasts were infected with the aura and became more human-like. On an ancient tree in the sky, there are two people standing here at this time. The man has an immortal air and is as handsome as a demon. The girl next to him is even more graceful. Every frown and every smile is enchanting. In this world, such a stunning beauty is unique. The woman smiled sweetly. With her here, the endless sea of flowers around her would lose its charm. It turns out that this is how the Ghost Emperor becomes stronger. The feeling of swallowing him is really good. If the demon ancestor hadn't met the immortals who descended to earth, I'm afraid. Duomingshan Zhensu smiled coldly and said, that is nature. The demon ancestor is the most top-notch god of all things born since ancient times. Tianhai Yufujio smiled sweetly and said, that's right, no one can stop his rebirth this time, not even the immortals in the sky. Their eyes fell on the Yanhuang Emperor's city. We've arrived. How can we enter the Yanhuang ancient well and let the demon ancestor come out? Tianhai Yufuyu asked. Duomingshan Zhensu said, although the demon ancestor has given us so many abilities, we still have to plan well and not mess up like the Lord of the Dead. Now, these ascetics who claim to be the right way are all dead. It's determined, especially for Holy Lord Taixu, that his death date has come. In order to better appreciate their despair, everything must be done absolutely. This is also the character of Duomingshan Zhensu. He stayed behind in the palace of hell, but miraculously survived. He had endured all his life in order to return to the divine continent, and now the opportunity finally came. He continued, I remember 50 years ago, I won the first place in the Shenzhou Tianlong battle. In the past few days, there are rumors about the Shenzhou Tianlong battle again in Shenzhou. Do you know why I and Taixu the Holy Lord broke up? Why did he take the things I got at the Taiku Immortal Road? Just with an unknown explanation, this old guy was so stubborn and sanctimonious that I left. On the day when Daozong ascended the Yuan dynasty, I vowed to let him die in my hands. Now, I am ready to swallow him and see what this old guy's flesh and blood will taste like. Tianhai Yufukyo said, this man has forced my father to such a miserable state, and he must take revenge. But, what does this have to do with the divine continent Tianlong War? I won the first place last time, so this time the Shenzhou Tianlong battle is organized by the Shangyuan Daozong. If someone from Yanhuang Emperor City goes to fight, it will definitely need to be led by the Emperor Commander or the Lord of Yanhuang City, and he will lead if there are many strong men to take charge of the scene. Yanhuang Emperor City will be basically empty. It will be easier to deal with only one Yanhuang City Lord. This Yanhuang City Lord has suffered a loss, and we will obviously not open the Yanhuang ancient well again. Heavenly Demon Ancestor, are you still afraid that you won't be able to deal with the Yanhuang City Lord? Tuoming Shinchensu's eyes were gloomy. There is such an opportunity. At that time, people's attention will definitely be on Yuandao sect, and then our probability of success will indeed be very high. Then choose to take action at that time. During these days, we can still strengthen yourself secretly. Daddy, I can't wait to become stronger. I also want to crush the heroes like the Ghost Emperor, Tianhai Yufweo said excitedly with gray vortexes in her eyes. Don't worry, it's easy for you. Following Demon Ancestor, our future is not just as simple as becoming an immortal. Maybe one day, we can even compete with immortals. This is the luck of the two of us. The father and daughter were excited and enthusiastic, and the gray whirlpools in their eyes kept spinning. By the way, I seem to have heard that Wu Yu is also going to Shangyuan Daozong to participate in the war. Otherwise, we can still get the egg. By the way, Tianhai Yufugguang thought of Wu Yu and couldn't help but gnashed her teeth. Wu Yu looked at her in front of her facing the ruined palace of hell, and defeating the Ghost Emperor with Luo Bin, especially the closeness between him and Luo Bin, it made her crazy. Recalling the high Xian Ling Taoist artifact she had in the underground palace, she became more and more obsessed with it. Hatred. Wu Yu, don't worry. We will release the Demon Ancestor. With the Demon Ancestor coming forward, it will be easy to get the egg. Furthermore, I estimate that after this incident, the Yanhuang City Lord will definitely keep the egg in his hands. It may not be in Wu Yu's hands. As soon as the Demon Ancestor comes out, his physical body can be taken away. That's right, Tianhai Yufweo nodded. Thinking of Wu Yu, she still gritted her teeth and said, this Wu Yu has offended me many times. After this success, I will definitely swallow him with my own mouth. Look. Why is he so arrogant in front of me? When I was working as an undercover agent in Yanhuang Emperor City, I still had some affection for Wu Yu, but I didn't expect that he would go against me many times, especially in front of me, and instead get close to Luo Bin, which was unbearable. Don't worry, it's very simple. When the Demon Ancestor recovers, at least we can all go sideways in this entire world of Yanfu, let alone a mere nobody. Duoming Shinchensu's eyes were blazing. Now, he doesn't pay attention to anyone. Inside. Now, I'm just waiting for that day to come. Time passes. Shenzhou is very peaceful, nothing has happened, just some mysterious disappearances occasionally. This chapter is not over, please click the next page to continue reading. Shenzhou Tianlong War is coming, Wu Yu has no time to care about these things. After receiving the guidance of the City Lord and the Emperor, he has made rapid progress. It seems that before the Shenzhou Tianlong War, it should be no problem to integrate these two heaven and earth mystical arts. After all, every time he has doubts, he can ask them, and the progress is extremely rapid. During this period of time, basically the 32 people who will participate in the war have been completely confirmed. The emperor gave Wu Yuan the detailed materials of each of them. After all, these are quite powerful opponents. If you want to take the first place, you need to have some understanding of the enemy. He took a detailed look. The venue of the Shenzhou Tianlong War is the Shangxian battlefield of the Xuanhuan Dao sect. At that time, there will be forces and strong men from all sides of Shenzhou. Basically, the main forces of the last Ghost War will appear. The detailed list, most of whom Wu Yu actually doesn't know, most of them are over 40 years old. Seeing the Shushan Immortal sect, Wu Yu's heart skipped a beat. In addition to the two sword cultivators in their 40s, he also saw Nangong Wei, whose realm was already written as the 6th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm. It seems that Nangong Wei did not become decadent after the catastrophe, but became stronger. After Bai Shenmo's death, Nangong Wei is now the biggest hope for the future of Shushan. On the Shangyuan Dao sect side, Ji Linglong, who I met last time, is the favorite to win the championship. She is 2 or 3 years older than Nangong Wei, but she is also very young. In addition, there is a sect called Gasu Fairy Peak, which sent a girl who is about the same age as Nangong Wei. It is said that she is also a peerless talent, not inferior to Nangong Wei and Ji Linglong. Her name is Gasu Yudi. I haven't heard much about this person, but she must be good since she is praised so much. The Gasu Fairy Peak is right next to the Shangyuan Dao section. It is actually a part of the Shangyuan Dao sect, but it broke away from the Shangyuan Dao sect a long time ago. It is said that all the disciples are female, and it is a place that the practitioners of Shenzhou yearn for. Nangong Wei, Ji Linglong, and Gasu Yudi are now collectively known as the 3 great genius beauties of Shenzhou. Among them, Ji Linglong is the first, Nangong Wei is the second, and Gasu Yudi is the third. This should be the ranking of strength. If Qin Fu Hui is not a ghost cultivator, she would probably join them reluctantly. However, Wu Yu has seen Ji Linglong, who is indeed the world's top beauty. Her fairy-like ethereal temperament is the most beautiful among all the heroes. But what Wu Yu noticed most were the 3 participants from the Endless Demon Sea. This is the only event with demons participating in the battle. In any case, the relationship between humans and demons is not good, and it is easy to fight once they meet. However, the Shenzhou Tianlong War is an ancient tradition that has been passed down for many years. Demons have always been qualified to participate and have the qualifications to compete for the entry into the ancient fairy road. Since ancient times, it has been stipulated that during this grand event, humans and demons cannot fight. This is the rule of the ancestors. During this grand event, it must be followed. The demons are also very persistent in obtaining the qualification to participate in the war. If the demons are excluded, the Endless Demon Sea will definitely make a big fuss, and the human race will also be worried. But the demons' demands are reasonable. They are a member of Shenzhou and are indeed qualified to compete for the opportunity to enter the ancient fairy road. The demons are also more eager to defeat the human race on such a fair battlefield, gain glory and prestige, and revive the demons' glory. So every time a demon participates in the war, it will be particularly concerned. Generally speaking, as long as the human race encounters a demon opponent, they will definitely do their best to stop it. The human race has such a consensus. It doesn't matter who gets first place, but the demons must not get it. First, it will be a loss of face for the human race. Second, if the demons get first place, then the next Shenzhou Tianlong War will be held in the Endless Demon Sea in 50 years. For the human cultivators, entering the Endless Demon Sea on a large scale is a disgusting thing. They don't want to go into a place like the Endless Demon Sea, even if they are in groups. unless they want to fall out with the demons and take advantage of the Shenzhou Tianlong War to wipe out the demons. But now, there is a balance between the cultivators and the demons. The demons are endless, and now they live in peace. For the time being, no one wants to break this balance and cause chaos in the world. Demons, after all, are not as crazy as ghost cultivators. In history, no one has ever used the Shenzhou Tianlong War to stir up trouble. After all, this is a very solemn tradition. On the list of 3 demons, 2 of them did not surprise Wu Yu. They are Zhuiying and Wuxian Sueqi. These 2 are of course the most dazzling. Zhuiying is the son of the infant emperor, while Wuxian Sueqi is the adopted son of the Candle Emperor. Wuxian Sueqi has an advantage because he is older, but not more than 50. Judging from the realm, Wuxian Sueqi is already at the 8th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm in terms of intelligence. Obviously, he is the super favorite in this Shenzhou Tianlong battle. Defeating him has become the responsibility of every genius in Shenzhou. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 522. /U0026 been the hard training, half a year passed in the blink of an eye. /U0026 time will always pass faster and faster during the years of cultivation. /U0026 bit is said that 100 years will pass when the immortal closes his eyes and opens them again. /U0026 the more you pursue the profound Tao, the more time you need to lay a solid foundation and ponder this vast avenue. /U0026 the more profound the Tao and the array, the more complicated they are. For example, there are tens of thousands of arrays on the Hanhai Tyrannosaurus pillar, which are so dense that it takes time to get familiar with them. /U0026 when I was immortal, half a year was quite long, but now it feels like a month. /U0026 bit passed in the blink of an eye. /U0026 fortunately, with the help of the city lord and the emperor, the progress was rapid. After thousands of attempts, Wu Yu finally integrated the 2 kinds of heaven and earth mystical arts. The details and the avenue contained in them were deeply engraved in his soul. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward arrow. /U0026 Central Heavenly Emperor's Divine Art and the 10,000 Emperor's Furnace Divine Art turned into clouds and swirled in his purple mansion sea. When they moved, the sky and the earth would collapse. /U0026 after the success, the land of Shenzhou, which had been somewhat quiet after the War of Ghosts and Gods, became hot again because the once in 50 years Shenzhou Dragon War was about to be held. The topic of daily discussion among the cultivators was the participants on the list. /U0026 human race in Shenzhou already had many geniuses. The major sects competed for honor, and with the participation of demons, everyone participated in the war with a sense of mission. The major sects supported their own geniuses, so it was extremely fierce. Compared with the competition within the sect, its degree of excitement was one level higher. /U0026 youngest group, including Wu Yu, Zhuiying, Nangongwei, Murongsu, Ji Linglong and Gasuyudi, are also very popular, especially Wu Yu, who has received more attention. However, people do not think he is the favorite to win. /U0026 the real favorites are those who have practiced Taoism for more than 10 or 20 years longer than them, especially Wuxian Blood Qi. Many people hope that someone will appear on the human side to stop Wuxian Blood Qai's advance. /U0026 the blood of this demon is not much worse than Zhuiying. Now he is in his 40s, and he does have a huge advantage. Zhuiying has been chasing him for many years, but he has not been able to catch up with him. /U0026 no matter what, it is time to set off for the Xuanhuan Dao sect. /U0026 because this Shenzhou Tianlong battle is held inside the Xuanhuan Dao sect, not everyone can go to watch the battle. Each sect can bring a fixed number of people. For example, the level of Yanhuang Emperor City can bring about 1,000 people. /U0026 and second rate sects are only allowed to bring 300 people. /U0026 and for the rest of the people who want to watch the battle on site, they must get an invitation from Xuanhuan Dao section. It is said that the invitation to watch the battle is worth a lot of money. Before the battle, many people spent a lot of money to buy the invitation to watch the battle. /U0026 nth number of spectators at the Shenzhou Tianlong battle is basically maintained at around tens of thousands, cheering for the geniuses of their respective sects and acting as a backing. /U0026 Nbathers can't see the scene, so they can only wait for news outside the venue. /U0026 Nths is the top event in Shenzhou. /U0026 Nth Yanhuang Emperor City is led by the Emperor Marshal. He drives the black warship with thousands of people. /U0026 Nth These thousands of people are all strong men in Yanhuang Emperor City. They are at the level of Yanhuang generals. Except for those who have important tasks, they will basically participate. The rest are many thousand captains and some particularly outstanding centurions. This is basically the most powerful 1,000-man lineup of Yanhuang Emperor City. Except for the Yanhuang City Lord stationed in the Yanhuang Ancient Well, everyone else has basically arrived. /U0026 Nth's powerful force is definitely more powerful than all the sects. Such a formation, as the backing of Wu Yu and the other three, will crush other sects in terms of momentum alone. /U0026 Nb especially, they are all wearing Yanhuang immortal armor, each of them is majestic and heroic, and when they are united, their momentum is overwhelming. Even the sharp sword cultivation army does not have this imperial righteousness. /U0026 Nb with these senior strongmen as the backing and their cheering, the three participants of Yanhuang Emperor City are indeed more advantageous than other sects. /U0026 Nb for this reason, Wu Yu is also proud of being a member of Yanhuang Emperor City. /U0026 Nb when he was fully prepared and boarded the Black Emperor Yi warship, thousands of Yanhuang immortal army cheered for him. /U0026 Nb Wu Yu. Wu Yu. /U0026 Nb no matter what, Wu Yu is at least stronger than Murong Su, so he still has hope to fight for the glory of Yanhuang Emperor City. Although his hope is not as great as Shen Kaiyan, Wu Yu has had a brilliant Yan war after all, so the elders of Yanhuang Emperor City still hope to see Wu Yu's wonderful performance at the biggest event in Shenzhou. /U0026 Nth Emperor laughed heartily and said, "The heroes of our Yanhuang Emperor City have arrived. The three young participants will definitely win the first place honor for our Yanhuang Emperor City. The first genius of Shenzhou should appear in our Yanhuang Emperor City. And we have lost such honor several times. This time, it depends on you three." /U0026 Nb everyone cheered. /U0026 Nb such a scene is exciting and exciting. /U0026 Nb other two have also arrived. There is no need to mention Murong Su. Wu Yu has known him for a long time and defeated him. After experiencing the horror of the battle between ghosts and gods, he became more humble and no longer hated Wu Yu. He also probably knew that Wu Yu did not want to compete with him for the position of city lord or the successor to the emperor, so after seeing Wu Yu, he smiled and was very kind. /U0026 Nth other Shen Kaiyan and Wu Yu had no intersection. It was the first time Wu Yu saw him. He was a very gentle and elegant young man with a righteous temperament and a temperament similar to that of the Lord of Yanhuang City. After seeing Wu Yu, he also smiled gently. Although this person seemed gentle, he should be very tough in his bones. He was at the 8th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm and had great magic power. In fact, he was basically no different from the Yanhuang generals around him. With such a background, he was indeed the favorite to win the championship in Yanhuang Emperor City. If he could make it to the end, he might become Wu Yu's opponent. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading. /U0026NB No matter what, one of you three must win the first place. This is the most basic thing that people in our Yanhuang Emperor City should do, right? The Emperor said loudly. /U0026 and surrounding Yanhuang strongmen also shouted. In this regard, they were still very proud. As young people in Yanhuang Emperor City, they should have this arrogance of being the best in the world. /U0026NB No problem, Wu Yu's voice was the loudest. This time he had the most magnificent determination. In order to go to the wider world and fight against the cultivators there, the first place in Shenzhou must be obtained. /U0026NB At this time, no one can stop his determination. /U0026NB Very good, Wu Yu is the most confident and the most domineering. I like him the most, the emperor laughed. /U0026 Mirongsu and Shen Kaiyan are indeed more humble. /U0026NB Let's go. This time, I will take you three little guys to shock Shenzhou. /U0026 Emperor is very good at boosting morale. Now everyone is full of passion. At this time, the Emperor Yi warship took off with a bang, rushed out of the Yanhuang Emperor City, turned around, and roared to the Xuanhuan Dao sect in the southeast. Under the warship, more than 100,000 people raised their heads and watched the Emperor Yi warship leave with envy and excitement. /U0026 If they have the opportunity, they will also go to witness this world-shaking event with their own eyes. /U0026 Being and frivolous, who doesn't want to defeat the heroes of the four seas and win the title of the world's #1 genius. /U0026 Many people are paying attention to the departure of the Emperor Yi warship, for example, the Lord of Yanhuang City. In fact, he came out of the Yanhuang ancient well, stood on the city lord's mansion, and watched the warship leave with a smile on his face. /U0026 Who can dominate Shenzhou this time? Wu Yu, Shen Kaiyan, is it possible? /U0026 At the beginning, he was also the first in the Shenzhou Tianlong War. That year, his opponent in the decisive battle was his younger brother Di Yi, so that time, the Shenzhou Tianlong War was actually monopolized by Yanhuang Emperor City. /U0026 But after that, Yanhuang Emperor City rarely won the first place, not to mention the two people fighting in the decisive battle. /U0026 In addition to the city lord, there are indeed two people behind Yanhuang Emperor City, smiling and watching the Emperor Yi warship leave. /U0026 It's almost time to rest. The only strong man left in Yanhuang Emperor City is the Lord of Yanhuang City. In this way, our chance of success is more than 90%. /U0026 Now, no one can stop the rebirth of demon ancestor devouring heaven. /U0026 In the dark forest, the two suppressed their smiles, as if ghosts were floating in the shadows. /U0026 However, the attention of the entire Shenzhou is now on Xuanhuan Dao section. Yanhuang Emperor City is deserted again this time. Even on the streets of the outer city, there are not many people walking at this time. /U0026 Speed of the Emperor Yi warship is terrifying, shuttling between the blue sky and white clouds. The Yanhuang Immortal Army is full of passion and soon descends on Xuanhuan Immortal Mountain of Xuanhuan Dao sect. /U0026 This is the first time Wu Yu has come to Xuanhuan Immortal Mountain. /U0026 Standing on the edge of the Emperor Yi warship, looking down, I saw Xuanhuan Immortal Mountain shrouded in clouds and mist. Xuanhuan Immortal Mountain is very vast and continuous. Although it is not as rugged and sharp as Qingtianshu Mountain, it is more vast and full of fairy air. It is exactly the same as the legendary fairyland. U0026 and Qingtianshu Mountain is covered with ice and snow all year round, cold and murderous, while the Xuanhuan Immortal Mountain under my feet is beautiful with clear water and birds singing and flowers blooming, as if all the beautiful scenery in the world is concentrated here. U0026 and Ben the magnificent scenery of mountains and rivers, there are countless gorgeous palaces. Those palaces are like fairy palaces, with dense array diagrams. From a distance, the palace of the Immortals is like stars dotted in a fairyland like mountain and river. Surrounded by the misty colorful aura, there are also moving Taoist women shuttling around. It is said that the women of Xuanhuan Dao sect are the most dressed and the most spiritual. Now, looking from a distance, it is indeed true. After all, most of the female sword cultivators in Xusan have cold personalities, wear sword robes, and have sharp eyes. In Xuanhuan Dao sect, the women are like fairies in heaven, graceful and charming. U0026 and Shanjiayuan Dao sect calls itself the Orthodox Avenue, which contains everything in the universe, and it does have its capital. This is the most comfortable place Wu Yu has seen. Compared with the prosperity of Yanhuang Emperor City, this place has more of the taste of becoming an immortal. No wonder there are people like Taixu Saint Lord who can compete with Yanhuang City Lord. U0026 nth Emperor Yi worship was very fast, so it was basically the first one to arrive among the many sects. U0026 nth however, Xuanhuan Dao sect was already prepared to welcome it. U003C. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 523. To hold a successful Shenzhou Tianlong War, Xuanhuan Dao sect also needs to bear a certain amount of pressure. In fact, the most embarrassing thing is that according to the rules of the Shenzhou Tianlong War, the one who won the first place in Shenzhou 50 years ago has to sit in the whole venue and host this grand event. Unfortunately, the winner Qin Shensu has now become the 8th Yanhuang of ghost cultivation. This is a stain on Xuanhuan Dao sect, there is nothing we can do. However, what is more exciting is that this time the Taixu Saint Lord decided to sit in person. With him sitting in person, it is obvious that this Shenzhou Tianlong War will be more grand and solemn. After all, there are really top-notch figures among the participants this time. Especially on the demon side, the 3 participants are all amazing and noble. The battle for honor between the human race and the demons, to put it bluntly, is a battle for face, which is still quite interesting. The battlefield is the Shangxian battlefield located in the core position of Xuanhuan Xianshan. The battlefield of the Immortals is similar to the ancient battlefield where the Yan battle took place, but it is wider. There are rocks, steel, rivers, mountains, etc. It is a completely natural battlefield, which allows the participants to freely perform Taoist magic, fly into the sky, control the rivers and seas, rotate the mountain tops, and do everything. Above the battlefield of the Immortals, there is a huge white jade platform suspended. The white jade platform is a magic weapon. There are thousands of people standing on the white jade platform now. Around the battlefield of the Immortals, hundreds of thousands of disciples of the Xuanhuan Dao sect have gathered. As the organizer, this is their advantage. They have more people who can cheer for their sect members on the spot. Sometimes, backing is also a huge force. As for the white jade platform, there are the core cultivators of the Xuanhuan Dao sect, with the Taixu Saint Lord as the leader. Many cultivators gather together, and there are many strong ones. They are basically all in white robes, surrounded by fairy clouds, as if they were a group of immortals walking out of the fairyland. The Emperor Yi worship was suspended opposite the white jade platform. The Yanhuang Immortal Army and the Xuanhuan Daoist sect's cultivators were vaguely in a confrontation, while the Taixu Saint Lord smiled and talked to the Emperor Marshal across the air. Although they fought side by side during the war between ghosts and gods, they were now fighting each other, so there was naturally some tension. The Taixu Saint Lord said, The emperor is leading the team today. The city lord didn't come. Is he afraid that the young people of Yanhuang Emperor City won't gain much, so he is embarrassed to see people? In fact, he knew what the Yanhuang City Lord was guarding. The emperor smiled evilly and said, "The Saint Lord is overthinking. He is mainly afraid that Xuanhuan Dao sect will lose too badly, and the Saint Lord will not be ashamed to talk to him, so he took the initiative not to come to save the Saint Lord from embarrassment." The two top figures ridiculed each other, which aroused some tension among the young people, but in fact, they were just teasing each other. At least in the past 100 years, the relationship between Shushan Xianmen, Yanhuang Emperor City and Xuanhuan Dao sect was still very good, especially the Yanhuang City Lord and the Taixu Saint Lord, who appreciated each other. The Taixu Saint said, "The specific situation of the battle is not determined by what we say, but depends on the performance of the young people. I hope that the emperor will not go back in disgrace, but must stay in Xuanhuan Xianshan for a few days, so that I can show my hospitality as a host." You are right, it depends on the performance of the young people. After the battle, I will certainly let the Saint Lord spend money, but the Saint Lord is also anxious. Next time the Shenzhou Tianlong battle is held, my Yanhuang Emperor City will also entertain the Saint Lord well. The implication is that Yanhuang Emperor City must win the first place this time, so that it can become the venue for the Shenzhou Tianlong battle next time. The two teased each other, but it was just a joke. However, the young people were very angry and glared at each other. There were hundreds of thousands of Xuanhuan Dao sect disciples below, who were filled with righteous indignation and could not help but whisper insults. From this, we can also see how grand the Shenzhou Tianlong battle, which only happens once every 50 years, is. Wu Yu also saw the participants on the opposite side. Among them, Ji Linglong was known to him. The other two were also over 40 years old. One was at the 7th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm, but it was said that he could fight above his level. The other was at the 8th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm. Both were probably about the same as Shen Kaiyuan. In summary, except that everyone was not particularly sure about Wu Yu's combat power, it was indeed the Xuanhuan Dao sect that seemed to have a slight advantage. Of course, in the battle between gods and dragons, there are often dark horses rushing all the way, and there is only one champion in the end, so the suspense is still full. After Yanhuang Emperor City was the first to enter Xuanhuan Xianshan, the teams of other sects also arrived one by one, surpassing the Shangxian battlefield. In fact, they had already arrived nearby, but no one dared to come in for the first time. After all, the first one to come in would have to face the Taixu Saint Lord first. The pressure was still unbearable for the second-rate sects. After the Emperor Yanhuang City, the leader of a sect called Gesuferi Peak came in. There were about 300 people, all of them were women, and they were all beautiful and charming. Each of them was a beauty in the world. This group of beautiful women was dazzling. Each of them was like a fairy, each with their own beauty. Although there were more than 300 people, each of them had their own temperament. They came on a huge pink lotus, which was fragrant and fragrant. In fact, it was also a magic weapon forged by a fairy. Ordinary magic weapons are made of treasures as the main materials. It is even more difficult to forge magic weapons with fairies. The Emperor Yi warship, the white jade platform and the lotus are 3 legs. Of course, compared with these two behemoths, Gesuferi Peak is still a little worse. However, the peak master of Gesuferi Peak is also in the Yuanshen waxing realm, named Gesuqing Lian, and is estimated to be about the same age as Emperor Marshall. She has a plump figure that is rare among young girls. Wu Yu has never seen a woman of this age who is more attractive than her. She is indeed the most beautiful woman in the world. Even Emperor Marshall couldn't help but take a few more glances. Gesuferi Peak is also very courageous. An extraordinary genius girl named Gesu Yudi appeared in its section. She is the niece of Gesuqing Lian. She was raised and cultivated by her since she was a child. At a young age, she rushed to the 6th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm. It is said that she has a top-level inheritance. She reached this step because of the top-level inheritance. This Gesuyuti rarely leaves Gesuferi Peak, so no one knows what her inheritance is yet. Among the 300 people, Wu Yu did see Gesuyuti at first sight. She was indeed a young girl, about the same age as Nangang Wei. In a place like Gesuferi Peak, her appearance would not be bad. As expected, she was indeed very attractive, with a kind of delicate, elf, and cute temperament. She was not as melancholy as her name, but full of energy. She always felt like she was jumping around. Her big, ethereal eyes looked around, as if she was very curious about the surroundings. However, Wu Yu noticed that when she looked at Ji Linglong of Xuanhuan Dao sect, a strong fighting spirit and provocation appeared in her eyes. This was not an ordinary fighting spirit. It was obvious that she should regard Ji Linglong as a great enemy. I don't know what story is in this. Ji Linglong looked at her and couldn't help frowning. The person who betrayed his teacher and destroyed his ancestors and changed his surname, from the shape of Gesuyuti's mouth, Wu Yu seemed to see that she was saying these words. Seeing his confusion, the emperor explained, "Are you curious? Actually, many people know about this. The real name of the Taixu saint is Ji, which is the Ji of Ji Linglong. Ji Linglong was not originally the surname. Her original name was Gesu Linglong. She is the biological sister of Gesuyuti. However, she showed amazing talent when she was young and was taken away by the Taixu saint to be trained. Now she is not considered a person of Gesuferi Peak. Not many people know about this, so don't spread it out." Wu Yu was surprised. They are sisters. No wonder these two are so talented. It should be related to genetics. It seems that Gesuyuti regards Ji Linglong as a traitor to Gesuferi Peak, so she has hatred in her eyes and will always regard this proud daughter of Xuanhuan Dao sect as a target. Perhaps this Shenzhou Tianlong battle is her best chance to challenge and prove herself. They are all people with stories. However, the names of these two people are really nice, whether it is Gesu Linglong or Ji Linglong, Gesuyuti is also very good. The names of people in Gesuferi Peak are really poetic. When Gesuyuti pointed her eyes full of fighting spirit at Ji Linglong, the teams of other sects, such as the martial god Heavenly Gate and the Heavenly Palace Thunder Palace, arrived one by one. Each of their teams was led by the headmaster, and the 300 top masters in the sect came to take charge. This is a battle of honor and face. Basically, they came out in full force. Only in the last battle of ghosts and gods, there were so many masters present. Once every 50 years, if a second-level sect like them can win the first place, it would be unprecedented and shocking to Shenzhou. Therefore, every time Shenzhou Tianlong fights, they will even fight harder than the top sects such as Yanhuang Emperor City, and there are often events in history where they become the final winners. As time passed, teams from all sides gradually arrived. Although the Shushan Immortal sect was in the far southwest, they also arrived at Shangyuan Immortal Mountain 2 days after the arrival of Yanhuang Emperor City. There were thousands of them, driving a giant sword that soared into the sky, and killing to the sky above Shangyuan Immortal Mountain. In the direction of their advance, 2 or 3 sects couldn't help but make way for them. After all, the giant sword was so sharp that no one dared to block the way of the sword cultivators of the Shushan Immortal sect. Nangang Wei also came. Wu Yu was shocked and looked at the giant sword. This time, 5 of the 7 immortals of Shushan came, except for Tianshi Sword Immortal and Tianqian Sword Immortal. The Qiang Sword Immortal naturally came with his daughter. There were also many Shushan Sword Saints who were all present, including the most eye-catching Zinc Sword Saint. If Zinc Sword Saint hadn't been unlucky and happened to be over 50, he would definitely be one of the biggest favorites to win this Shenzhou Tianlong battle. The 9th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm. Wu Yu also saw Nangang Wei. She should be ready and determined to overcome all obstacles. The sharp sword intent in her body inherited the Xuanhuan tradition. There were 9 colored flames burning in her eyes, as if some power had awakened in her. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 524. Now, Ji Linglong, Nangang Wei and Gasuyuti, 3 beautiful, young and talented girls, are all here. In terms of talent, the other girls participating in the battle are indeed not as talented as them. Therefore, although they are too young and have little hope of winning the championship, they are also particularly dazzling. And the 3 girls have different temperaments. Ji Linglong is as cold and elegant as a fairy, ethereal and quiet. Nangang Wei has the unique sharpness of Xuanhuan sword cultivators and the domineering aura that ordinary women rarely have. The 9-color flame is the symbol of her fiery heat. Gasuyuti is cute and lovely, with a moving spirit and laughter. As everyone greeted each other, the day of the war was getting closer and closer. However, people certainly knew that there were still 2 major forces that had not arrived, one of which was the Tianyi clan. As the strongest clan in Shenzhou, the Tianyi clan is slightly inferior to Yanhuang Emperor City, Xusan Immortal Gate and Shangyuan Dao sect, but it is not weak at all. In the list of participants this time, the 3 of them are between 40 and 49 years old. There is a man and a woman in the 8th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm, and another is the 9th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm. This one is also the favorite to win. In terms of realm, the highest is the 48-year-old Tianyi clan, named He Taejun. He is in the 9th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm, which is similar to Shenzhenjiao. However, although Wushan Suechi is in the 8th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm, it is not certain whether He Taejun can stop him. After a day, the Tianyi clan arrived late, but they took this event very seriously. The 2 clan leaders, Jin Shengshen and Lu Suexian, have arrived, and the thousands of people who came are also the top lineup of the Tianyi clan. Such a domineering team is no worse than the Xusan Immortal Gate when they come here. To be honest, the Tianyi tribe is far away from other places in Shenzhou, so it is difficult to integrate into the atmosphere of Shenzhou. Their thinking and behavior are not very similar. However, the Tianyi tribe is indeed very desperate, but because they are a clan, they often have a strong cohesion. When they go out, the cultivators dare not provoke the Tianyi tribe the most, because as long as they bully one of them, they will definitely be retaliated fiercely. This time, the Tianyi tribe members are also very domineering and arrogant, with fierce eyes, and they are also building momentum for the young strong men in the tribe, especially He Taejun, who is in the 9th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm. As the one with the highest realm among the 32 participants, he does have a great hope of winning the championship, so the Tianyi tribe came with the preparation to win the championship this time. To be honest, the Tianyi clan rarely wins the Shenzhou Tianlong War. They always feel that the Shenzhou cultivators look down on them, so this time they want to win the first place and shock Shenzhou. The first sentence that the Golden Saint said after arriving was, "Our Tianyi clan's sun shooting battlefield has been prepared. Welcome everyone present. Come to the Tianyi clan in 50 years. Very arrogant and proud." The emperor laughed after hearing this and said, "The Jin clan leader is so arrogant that I almost suffocated. It's so scary." The Golden Saint said, "Yanhuang Emperor City is the best in the world, but our Tianyi clan is not afraid of you. Besides, we don't even need to send He Taejun to participate in the battle. Jin Tiansheng and Lu Shiai alone can suppress you." The Tianyi clan was lucky this time. The geniuses in the clan happened to be under 50 years old and were all on the verge of 50 years old. Xusan has bad luck. The most popular candidate, Shenzhen Jiao, is definitely more domineering than He Taejun, but unfortunately he is not qualified to participate in the battle, so this time, Xusan Xianmen has little chance. Everyone, stop arguing. It's meaningless. The most important task this time is to let the demons take away the world's number one Taegzu saint said. Speaking of demons, everyone still quieted down, their eyes were very cautious. Among the demons, Zhuiying and Wuxian blood qi are both top bloodlines. The Wuxian blood qi is actually a member of the Shenlong clan, just like Zilong, but it is evil by nature and is not recognized by the Shenlong. Zhuiying is not a big threat. After all, he is still young, just like Wu Yu and Ji Linglong. But the Wuxian blood qi has grown for about 40 years. With his vigorous bloodline, even if his realm is not as good as He Taejun, it is really difficult to estimate how terrifying his lethality is. It can be said that except Wu Yu, all the 29 participants present are afraid of Wuxian blood qi. Wu Yu was eager to meet the Wuxian blood qi, because some accounts had to be settled. He looked in the direction of the endless demon sea, waiting for the demon army to arrive. Demons and the Shenzhou cultivators were not of the same kind, and there were mortal enemies here, so they always came the latest and left the earliest. The Shenzhou cultivators only slightly rejected the Tianyi clan, but they were extremely repulsive to demons. So the arrival of demons was indeed the biggest thing. Especially for the Xusan Immortal sect, they were even more different. When everyone looked in the direction of the endless demon sea, waiting for the demon army, Wu Yu looked at the Qiang sword immortal of Xusan. His wife died in the hands of the infant emperor. This was an irreconcilable hatred. Sure enough, at this moment, the Qiang sword immortal's eyes were red, and the sword energy in his eyes was grim, and so was Nangong Wei next to him. This hatred could not be dissipated for hundreds of years. Wei-er. Wu Yu struggled. He could feel that kind of hatred. She was absolutely right to kill the infant emperor. But his words were very difficult. He really wanted to help, but Zhuiying was now his best brother. How could he kill his brother's father? Fate was like this sometimes. There was no solution to many things. Perhaps for Wu Yu, not taking action and not interfering was the best choice. He is now very sure that the person he wants to pursue is not Nangong Wei. Perhaps it was just the ignorant love of young people in their youth, which has passed, but in the final analysis, he does not want Nangong Wei to have a bad life. Finally, there was rolling black fog in the sky. The dark clouds pressed down from afar to the sky above Xuanhuan Immortal Mountain. The majestic demonic energy made many young disciples very uncomfortable, even suffocated. The demon army, with murderous aura, faced so many Shenzhou cultivators. They were not timid at all, and even had a powerful momentum that was against the sky. They simply crushed them. Above the black clouds, the demons shouted and roared fiercely, which was really terrible. There were thousands of demons in the black clouds, which were the strongest group of people in the endless demon sea. The demons had to send out so many people, otherwise they were also worried that the Shenzhou cultivators would take advantage of this opportunity to violate the ancestral regulations and encircle and suppress the demons that were not in the endless demon sea, so they had to come out in full force. This demonic aura occupied half of Shangyuan Dao sect. The faces of the ascetics in Shenzhou were not looking good. Wu Yu was the same, after all. The Wuxian blood qi and the red blood demon that caused his fate to change drastically were both here. Above the black cloud, a group of demons were dancing wildly. Some were beasts, some were humanoid. Among the beasts, there were birds, beasts, insects, fish, and shrimps, and some dead things became demons, such as the pool of dirty blood of the red blood demon. However, the most eye-catching among them were the two emperors. A woman on the left, shrouded in a black robe, had a dead aura, had the aura of a divine dragon, was domineering and gloomy, and was obviously the candle dragon, that is, the candle emperor. I had seen him in the sky above the Yanhuang Emperor city. Another man, wearing black brocade, looks similar to Zhuang, with a slender figure, a handsome face like a demon, and skin as pale as paper. He is elegant but contains a hint of domineering. His pupils are not round, but vertical, like the eyes of a snake. Ordinary people don't even look at him. This is the first demon king who can suppress even the dragons along. He has been here for a long time and is called the Infant King. On the left side of the Infant King, Zhuang stood in the lineup of demons with some discomfort. And on the left side of the Xuanhuan, Wu Yu saw the Wuxian blood qi. The eyes and hair of the Wuxian blood qi are both blood-colored. The blood-colored hair is waist-length and dancing in the wind. The pair of blood-colored eyes are bright and sharp. It wears a loose white robe, spotless. The combination of blood and white is still so shocking. This enemy that Zhuang hated, when he appeared with Zhuang, his sophistication and gloom really made Zhuang look innocent and immature. Now, after several years, Wuxian Sueqi has made great progress. Every move has the style of the Candle Emperor. He is actually also a member of the Shenlong clan, but a hornless dragon. Although he is inferior among the Shenlongs, the inferior dragons are also terribly powerful. Demons are coming. The Infant Emperor is indeed a very domineering person. Without saying a word, he squeezed the black cloud directly onto the battlefield, arranged it next to the Yanhuang Emperor city, and squeezed several sects out. His position is just opposite the Shushan Immortal Gate. The group of demons shouted and laughed. This group of demons was so bold that they came to the territory of the Shenzhou cultivators and dared to shout like this. However, they dared to participate in the Shenzhou Tianlong War surrounded by the Shenzhou cultivators. They were bold and daring. Only demons could have such momentum. They were not worried that the Shenzhou cultivators would take the opportunity to strangle them. At worst, they would die together. In this way, all the teams of the Shenzhou Tianlong War arrived. After the demons arrived, the scene was dead silent. The Candle Emperor and the Infant Emperor did not speak, as if they were just here to participate in the war and did not want to say anything else. However, for Qiang Sword Immortal, who had the hatred of killing his wife, this blood sea hatred was hard to bear. Even if other Sword Immortals intercepted, when he saw the Infant Emperor, his eyes were red, and the whole person was like a madman, staring at the Infant Emperor, and the murderous intent in his eyes seemed to penetrate the Infant Emperor. Nangongwei, the same is true. What would happen if this kind of hatred was placed on himself? Wu Yu couldn't imagine it. Seeing Nangongwei like this, he felt a little uncomfortable. She lost her mother at such a young age, which was really pitiful. Infant Emperor, the Qiang Sword Immortal trembled all over and shouted in a hoarse voice. Above the black cloud, the Infant Emperor saw him. He sneered and said directly, "It's you, Nangongxian, you want revenge, come up, I don't mind starting a war, first blood sacrifice this battlefield of the Immortals known for its holiness and purity." The Infant Emperor is indeed not the same kind of demon as the 9 infants. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 525. /U0026 Nth Infant Emperor is known for being tough and overbearing, and it is even more impossible for him to give in just because there are so many Taoists in Shenzhou now. /U0026 NB It's a pity that Tianzhu and Tianqian didn't come, otherwise, I would have wiped out all of you Shushan 7 Immortals, the Infant Emperor said with a cold smile. /U0026 N Qiang Sword Immortal was already difficult to endure, and the opponent's impolite provocation was even more, detonating his powder keg. Suddenly, the whole world was scarlet for him. Not only him, but seeing the Infant Emperor so arrogant, Tianquan Sword Immortal, Yuhang Sword Immortal, Tianji Sword Immortal, and Yi Sword Immortal could not stand it. For a while, on this battlefield of the Upper Immortals, before the participants started fighting, the 5 of them had already drawn their Taoist swords, and the entire Shushan camp was filled with sword energy. At this point, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. U0026 Nth demons saw that they were going to attack, and they immediately became hot and manic. Most demons were belligerent and did not care about the consequences. For a while, the demonic energy exploded wildly, and the demons were cholera, howling loudly, and the rolling black clouds went to suppress the Xuanhuan immortal gate opposite. U0026 Bit seemed that a fight was about to start, but ordinary sects did not dare to stop it. If a fight broke out, they would probably stand on the side of the Xuanhuan immortal gate immediately because they were outnumbered. Although it was the rule of the ancestors that the Shenzhou Tianlong War could not attack demons, but if the demons provoked first, then it was no one else's fault. U0026 Personal grudges. Let's talk about it after the Shenzhou Tianlong War. At this juncture, the Taixu Saint Lord, the organizer, shouted softly, shocking the whole audience. U0026 Don't worry, there are plenty of opportunities, but according to the rules of our ancestors, we still have to complete the Shenlong Tianlong War. The Emperor Marshal also came out at this time to stop the big conflict. U0026 Nth Taixu Saint Lord must stop it, because this is Shangyuan Dao section. Once the fight starts, the most dead will definitely be his Shangyuan Dao sect disciples. U0026 Nbas for Jin Shengshen and Lu Shuexian, their Tianyi clan is far away from the demons, so there is not much conflict with the endless demon sea. Therefore, from their standpoint at this time, there is no need for other chaos to occur besides the grand event, so they also persuaded both sides not to conflict here first. U0026 In fact, the infant emperor was sure that they dared not take action, so he mocked them. Before the Shenzhou Tianlong War was over, no matter who it was, they didn't want to cause chaos first. U0026 Infant Emperor, after the Shenzhou Tianlong War is over, don't leave if you have the guts. Qiang Sword Immortal calmed down a little after being persuaded by others. U0026 Infant Emperor sneered, if I want to leave, I will leave. If I want to stay, I will stay. It depends on my mood. Whether you can keep me depends on your luck. If you dare not take action now, you will be a coward. If I were your woman, I would be extremely disappointed in you. U0026 Stop talking. It's meaningless. All parties, let's see the truth with your hands, said the Holy Lord Taixu. U0026 Shenzhou Tianlong War is extremely solemn. Conflicts before the war will only end this Shenzhou event. Therefore, no matter how the infant emperor ridicules, the Holy Lord Taixu will not let this war happen. This is also responsible for the Xuanhuan Immortal Gate. U0026 Bevan. If the Xuanhuan Immortal Gate has a plan, it has never thought of taking action in front of the station. It's just that Qiang Sword Immortal saw his enemy and received his ridicule, which is really unbearable. U0026 Now that the Xuanhuan Immortal Gate has Tianji Sword Immortal and others to comfort him, Nangong Xian finally calmed down. He simply closed his eyes and retreated to the back, thinking that out of sight, out of mind. U0026 But Nangong Wei couldn't do it. She didn't say a word from the beginning, but those eyes with 9 colors of spirit, the anger contained in the fate, burned vigorously. U0026 You saw all this. U0026 Fate cannot be escaped, and he didn't know what would happen to Nangong Wei in the future. U0026 But there is no doubt that this fierce confrontation will make the Shenzhou Tianlong War more full of gunpowder, especially the Wuxian blood qi, which is almost the absolute protagonist on the battlefield at this time. All the participants can't help looking at him, some are enthusiastic, some dodge, and most people are still worried about their encounter with him, because that would probably make them cannon fodder. U0026 The rhythm of the whole venue was controlled by the Grand Master Taixu. After suppressing the commotion and confrontation, he announced, Since everyone is here and there is no need to rest, then the Shenzhou Tianlong battle can begin. Who will become the first genius of Shenzhou and stand out from the crowd? Everyone, wait and see with me. U0026 After his announcement, the whole audience was suffocated. U0026 The rules of the Shenzhou Tianlong battle are very simple, that is, two people fight randomly. The winner enters the next round. U0026 As for how to randomly fight, there have been traditional methods since ancient times, and now the Grand Master Taixu is ready. In front of him, a Xiao appeared at this time. Xiao was only about 2 or 3 years old. After appearing here, he looked at everyone with a confused look, his eyes full of curiosity. When he found himself standing on the top of the cloud, he was excited, but also a little scared. U0026 These is actually immortal. U0026 Be a mortal baby, like a blank sheet of paper, appeared on the battlefield of the Shenzhou Tianlong War. With his tender legs, he walked curiously and looked around among the immortals. U0026 Bit was because he was young. If he was a few years older and more sensible, he would probably faint now. U0026 You knew the rules. In fact, he just found a completely blank mortal, and drew lots under the supervision of everyone to draw the two sides of the battle. Because mortals are blank and have no ability, the choices they make are also the most random. U0026 At this time, the Holy Lord Taixu took him to a white jade box. The white jade box only had an opening on the top. There were 32 balls in the box, and each ball had a name. Every time the mortal Xiao took out 2 small balls, the names on the small balls were the two sides of the battle. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. U0026 Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, no Taoist magic can be used, otherwise everyone can see that such a draw is absolutely random. Of course, this is also the method of the Shenzhou Tianlong War since ancient times. Every time Xiao is brought to catch the ball, no matter what his qualifications are, he can stay in the host sect. U0026 Now, under the guidance of the Holy Lord Taixu, Xiao has reached into the white jade box. U0026 As long as he is drawn out, he will go to battle immediately. Therefore, whether he is a participant or not, he is actually nervous at this time, especially in the first battle, the opening battle. No matter what, the pressure in his heart will be greater. U0026 Amidst everyone's nervous gaze, the mortal child was very happy. He stretched out his hand and fished in the white jade box for a long time. Finally, he took out a small ball. Just as he was about to play with it, the small ball fell into the hands of the Taixu Saint Lord. The Taixu Saint Lord took a look, raised it high, and then looked in the direction of the Yanhuang Emperor city. U0026 These is the first one to fight. U0026 Yu was stunned for a moment. Is it such a coincidence that he will be the first to fight? U0026 Taixu Saint Lord announced, Yanhuang Emperor City, Shenkaiyuan. U0026 know himself. U0026 No matter what, Wu Yu still wanted to see other people's battles first. U0026 Shenkaiyuan had the demeanor of a great general. After hearing that he was the first to fight, his face did not change. After saying hello to the Emperor Marshal, he jumped off the Emperor Yi warship and jumped into the vast Changxian battlefield below. U0026 Shenkaiyuan is also a popular figure. He was also the most confident of the 3 people from Yanhuang Emperor City. When he appeared, most people cheered. U0026 mortal child's mouth was shrunken after the ball was taken away, and he was about to cry loudly. At this time, the Holy Lord Taixu led him to draw the ball again. Xiaokai burst into laughter, stretched out his arms, and happily shuffled the balls in the box. After a long time, he took one out. /U0026 And when the Holy Lord Taixu took out the ball and looked at it carefully, his face changed slightly, becoming a little serious and cautious. /U0026 And Beveryon couldn't help but suffocate. /U0026 And Beveryon wanted to take the first place in Shenzhou. In this direct elimination battle, with little rest in the middle, who the opponent is sometimes very important. There was a case where someone's opponents were all weak all the way, and finally defeated a stronger opponent who was seriously injured in the previous battle with no injuries and the best condition, and took the first place in Shenzhou. /U0026 And bat this time, the Holy Lord Taixu really looked in the direction of the demons and announced, "Demons, Wuxian blood qi, go to battle." /U0026 And as soon as these words came out, there was a commotion. /U0026 And Wuxian blood qi is the most important figure in the Shenzhou Tianlong War, the absolute focus. Of course, Shen Kaiyan is not bad either. Both of them are at the 8th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm, so this Chen Feng is undoubtedly a heavyweight confrontation. /U0026 And generally speaking, it is not good luck for such a winning seed to meet in advance and have a long battle. /U0026 And however, the opening of such an important focus battle, which happened between Yanhuang Emperor City and the demons, definitely made the Shenzhou Tianlong War instantly hot, and people couldn't help but hold their breath. /U0026 And when Shen Kaiyan knew that his first opponent was Wuxian blood qi, his face changed, but he took a breath and his eyes became firm again. In fact, he had been ready to fight Wuxian blood qi, but he didn't expect that this battle would come so soon. /U0026 And be me, Wuxian blood qi pointed at himself, and he was a little unbelievable. He soon smiled and said, "Then, let me start the show and make this first battle of Shenzhou Tianlong War more interesting." /U0026 NB's face, eyes, and attitude showed that he didn't take his opponent seriously at all. Compared with Shen Kaiyan's caution, Wuxian blood qi left the rolling dark clouds with an indifferent and careless attitude, and landed on the battlefield of the Immortals amid the shouts of the monsters. A few hundred feet away from him was Shen Kaiyan. /U0026 NB Wuxian blood qi, you are famous, but I'm sorry, I have to send you back to the Endless Demon Sea in the first round. Shen Kaiyan stepped forward, taking out the magic weapon while moving forward. /U0026 and Wuxian blood qi laughed dumbly and said, "It's just a blink of an eye to deal with you. The one who should go home should be you, an unknown person, I don't even know your name." /U0026 and suddenly, the smell of gunpowder was full. People held their breath and watched these two powerful geniuses in a short period of time, basically without any nonsense, and directly rushed together. /U003C/C Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 526. /U0026 Nth Wuxian blood qi is only rumored to be terrible, and so far, no one knows its true combat power. /U0026 N compared to Shen Kaiyan, how about it? /U0026 N people are much more familiar with Shen Kaiyan. From his teens to now, all the battles he has experienced, what Taoist magical powers he has, and what magic weapons he has in his hands, everyone knows it well. /U0026 N so, everyone is still very confident in Shen Kaiyan. This battle is also related to the reputation of Yanhuang Emperor City, so now the people of Yanhuang Emperor City are all oppressing. Although they did not participate in the battle, their pairs of fiery eyes are all piercing the Wuxian blood qi, which is invisibly adding pressure to it. U0026 Nth battle between the two is also a confrontation between the Endless Demon Sea and the Yanhuang Emperor City. U0026 Nth Endless Demon Sea has a vast territory and many monsters. It is the force closest to the Yanhuang Emperor City. The strength of the Infant Emperor and the Candle Emperor is also close to that of the Emperor Marshal and the Lord of Yanhuang City. Moreover, it is the first battle. If the first battle can be won, the morale of the human race will definitely be greatly boosted. U0026 NB God Commander, smash his mouth. U0026 NB let this demon who has been hiding in the endless sea of magic and dared not show up for many years know how powerful our Shenzhou cultivators are. U0026 and know only the Yanhuang Emperor City, but also the rest of the human race sects are basically shouting and roaring fanatically. U0026 and Wu also squinted his eyes and watched carefully. He wanted to know what the Wuxian blood qi was capable of. Only by knowing yourself and the enemy can you take revenge. U0026 and Wuxian blood qi is very arrogant. U0026 and Bevan, it really didn't take Shen Kaiyuan seriously. U0026 and because, when demons usually go to war, their bodies have the strongest combat power, but Wuxian blood qi is always in human form. U0026 and white hair, flying wildly in the storm. U0026 and the indifferent smile and the feeling of being confident not only made the opponent feel timid, but also made others uneasy. U0026 and in fact, Shen Kaiyuan arrived in front of the Wuxian blood qi in the blink of an eye, and the two confronted each other head-on. Among them, Shen Kaiyuan was very serious and forced the Wuxian blood qi to kill it with a magic weapon. U0026 nth magic power of the two crisscrossed and swept across the battlefield of the Immortals. Shen Kaiyuan was indeed at the level of Yanhuang General. Such combat strength is indeed top-notch at this age. No wonder he won the first place in the Imperial battle. U0026 and it seems that Shen Kaiyuan suppressed the Wuxian blood qi, because the opponents were dodging under his Taoist magic, as if they were a little embarrassed. U0026 and in fact, the Wuxian blood qi is very scary, because Shen Kaiyuan seems to have tried his best, but he didn't hurt it at all. U0026 and after a long time of attack, Shen Kaiyuan was shocked. His heart was filled with the proud and arrogant smile of Wuxian Sueqi. This made him realize that this was an opponent who could not be defeated without fighting hard, so he made a decision quickly. U0026 and at this moment, Shen Kaiyuan's body was shining with golden light. The golden light spread rapidly and burst out, making him shine in the world, as if a scorching sun suddenly appeared in the sky. However, just a moment later, all the light on the scorching sun shrank in an instant, as if it disappeared, but in fact it was not the case, because if you look closely, you can see that all the light has shrunk directly into Shen Kaiyuan's eyes, so his eyes at this moment, the light burst out, shining extremely, no matter who it is, can't look at it. U0026 NB Doomsday Immortalize. U0026 NB obviously, this is a great magical power. U0026 NB you had read the information of all the participants, so he knew that the name of this magical power was Doomsday Immortalize. This was Shen Kaiyuan's trump card. Once this Doomsday Immortalize came out, any opponent of the same level had to dodge, otherwise no matter how strong the defense was, it might be penetrated. U0026 NB especially, at this moment, Shen Kaiyuan also sacrificed a magic weapon, which was a transparent mirror. The mirror was suspended in front of Shen Kaiyuan's eyes. At this moment, Shen Kaiyuan's magical power burst out, and two golden beams suddenly burst out from his eyes, penetrated, and instantly shot at the transparent magic weapon mirror. Almost at the same time, they passed through the mirror. However, at the same time, they had actually doubled and strengthened. \U0026 nth target of these two beams was naturally Wuxian blood qi. \U0026 and moreover, the division of labor was very obvious, one was its head, and the other was the location of its Danshan Zifukanghai. \U0026 nth speed of the Doomsday Immortal Eye was so fast that even Wu Yu's speed of divine movement might not be able to avoid it. \U0026 nth so, Wuxian blood qi couldn't dodge. \U0026 n but, in fact, he had no intention of dodging, his expression remained unchanged, still with that cold smile. \U0026 n been an instant, the beam of light from the Doomsday Immortal Eye pierced his eyes. \U0026 n at this moment, Wuxian blood qi suddenly stretched out his hands. Although it was just a glimpse, Wu Yu still clearly saw a bloody symbol on the palms of both hands. \U0026 n by remember that Wuxian blood qi had planted a bloody symbol on his body, which led to his killing of Mu Lingch. Although the two symbols were different, this one made Wu Yu deeply aware of the horror of his innate magical power. \U0026 nth innate magical power is the most important part of the demon bloodline. \U0026 and many demons are powerful because of their innate magical powers. \U0026 and in this critical moment, Wuxian blood Kai's palms, a symbol, corresponded to a ray of light. Two rays of light from the Doomsday Immortal Eye hit his palms. \U0026 and everything changes in this instant. \U0026 and bit is a pity that people did not see Shen Kaiyuan's Doomsday Immortal Eyes pierce the Wuxian blood qi, but saw that when the two rays of light shot onto his palm, they actually stopped moving under the guidance of the symbol on his palm. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. \U0026 n bit is difficult to move forward. \U0026 n Shen Kaiyuan has used the Doomsday Immortal Eyes so many times, but this is the first time that this magical power has been controlled by the opponent. \U0026 n such a magical power with such powerful explosive power was actually blocked by the pool. At this moment, Wu Yu clearly saw that even the Emperor's eyes had an incredible look, and then there was worry. \U0026 nth battlefield of the upper immortals was dead silent on the spot. \U0026 nth these was the first time that the Wuxian blood qi made a move, and once it made a move, it shocked the whole audience. \U0026 n but this is just the beginning, not the end. \U0026 nth next moment, when Wuxian blood qi chuckled and moved his hands, the blood-colored symbols inside twisted like a long snake. Suddenly, the beam of the Doomsday Immortal Eye turned red from the position where it touched Wuxian blood qi as if it was stained red by blood. The golden beam instantly turned red and spread towards Shen Kaiyuan at a terrifying speed. \U0026 nth speed is almost the same as Shen Kaiyuan's attack speed. \U0026 n in the process of changing from gold to blood red, it can be clearly seen that there are many red symbols in the blood red, whistling towards Shen Kaiyuan. \U0026 n for Shen Kaiyuan, this is almost a life and death moment. \U0026 nth Wuxian blood qi not only blocked its attack, but also used its attack to counter-attack the opponent. \U0026 nb Chuyan, give up, the Emperor reacted quickly. Before Wuxian blood qi counterattacked, he saw the strengths and weaknesses of the two, and even saw the terrifying power of Wuxian blood qi. \U0026 n but, Shen Kaiyuan was still a step slower. Just now, he still wanted to rely on the Doomsday Immortal Eye to break through the opponent's innate magical power symbol, so he burned the Purple Palace energy to strengthen the impact. At this moment, the Wuxian blood qi counterattacked with unstoppable force, almost crushing it. Even the power of the Doomsday Immortal Eye was transformed into the opponent's power. Now the blood-colored symbol drilled into his eyes along the doomsday immortal eye. \U0026 Enshin Kaiyan heard the emperor's reminder and gave up at this time. He fought with the Wuxian blood qi and knew how terrible it was, but unfortunately he was still a step slower. At the moment he gave up, many blood-colored symbols rushed into his eyes. \U0026 NBI \U0026 Enshin Kaiyan stepped back several steps. People could clearly see that his eyes had turned blood red, with the blood red symbol shining on it. The symbol twisted like a long snake. In an instant, Shen Kaiyan's eyes lost their vitality. In full view of the public, they shrank and dried up until they disappeared in his eye sockets. \U0026 N ball of a sudden, Shen Kaiyan's eyes were empty. \U0026 N these was a strange and severe injury, and it was uncertain whether he could recover in the future. At this moment, Shen Kaiyan cried out in pain, covering his eyes, and looked very miserable. At this time, Wuxian blood qi spread his hands and said, I said that it was an honor for a nobody to be my opponent. Taixu Saint Lord, is the winner not decided yet? If it is not announced, then I will continue to fight. If someone dies, I will not be responsible. \U0026 N proud, confident, and arrogant. \U0026 N bin comparison, Shen Kaiyan was indeed much more miserable. \U0026 Nth winner was indeed decided, and Wuxian blood qi really wanted to continue to fight. Taixu Saint Lord waved his hands and said, Wuxian blood qi won this battle and entered the top 16. \U0026 Nth Wuxian blood qi smiled and stopped. \U0026 Nth such a result is hard for the Yanhuang immortal army of Yanhuang Emperor City to accept. Shen Kaiyan was defeated and injured so badly. Wuxian blood qi's means are so vicious. On the one hand, they are worried about Shen Kaiyan, and on the other hand, they are very frustrated. This is the first battle of Yanhuang Emperor City, and the one who fought is the most confident one in Yanhuang Emperor City. Unexpectedly, such a person lost so badly and was humiliated by Wuxian blood qi. \U0026 Nth defeat of Yanhuang Emperor City is also the defeat of the human cultivators. For a while, all the human beings present had a bad look on their faces, but they had nothing to say, because Wuxian blood qi defeated Shen Kaiyan with real strength. His strength was so prominent here. In the next battle, it is hard to imagine that anyone can defeat Wuxian blood qi, if he really wins the championship in the end. 50 years later, we will go to the Endless Demon Sea to fight the Shenzhou Tianlong War. \U0026 N for the Shenzhou sect, this is simply a great shame. \U0026 N Bunder the angry and aggrieved eyes of the crowd, the emperor took Shen Kaiyan back. He checked and asked Shen Kaiyan to go back and rest. He seemed to hear him say, the magical power of Wuxian blood qi still left a mark in his eye socket, preventing his eyeball from recovering. The emperor can't expel the mark for the time being. He can only go back and ask Yanhuang City Lord to try. If Yanhuang City Lord can't do anything, then Shen Kaiyan may be blind forever. \U0026 N of course, Wuxian blood qi can be forced to withdraw the mark, but now the demons are at their most morale, it's not the right time, someone must stand up and hit the demons' arrogance. \U0026 NB Wuyu, Murong Su, I failed. The honor of Yanhuang Emperor City depends on you. Shen Kaiyan said in a low voice and desolate. Obviously, he was hit hard by Wuxian blood qi in this battle. \U0026 N Ben won battle, Wuxian blood qi suppressed the Shenzhou cultivator. \U003C/C You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 527. This was the first battle of the Shenzhou Tianlong War, and the demon gave all the cultivators in Shenzhou a disincentive, especially against the Yanhuang Emperor city. After this battle, even if there were top experts who had experienced many storms, it would be difficult for them to bear such a disastrous defeat. Therefore, almost everyone was depressed, which had a great impact on the psychology of those who fought later. Although Wuxian Xueqi has returned to his team of demons, his every move, his indifference, arrogance, and proud smile are still deeply engraved in everyone's hearts. The demon has a long lifespan. When the Wuxian blood qi grows up, the strength of the endless demonic sea will definitely be stronger. Many people are already very worried. They know that the Wuxian blood qi is difficult to deal with, but they don't know how terrifying he is. To such an extent. Now, we can only hope that He Taijun of the Tianyi clan can stop the Wuxian blood qi. He Taijun is the only one at the 9th level of the Kanghai realm of Zi Mansion, so he is the only one who has the possibility. Other participants will be unlucky if they encounter the Wuxian blood qi. Nowadays, except for the reveling and roaring demons in the entire Shangxian battlefield, everyone else is feeling depressed and aggrieved. However, the battle must continue. Holy Lord Taixu continued to let the mortal child draw lots to match the two sides. Next up were the combatants from the martial god Tianmen and the Tianyi Dao section. The battle was fierce. Both sides were evenly matched. Both of them were the only chances for their respective sects. Shouldering the glory of the sect, so they fought very hard. The scene was very vast, and both of them were of high standards. In the end, the participants from the Tianyi Dao sect had slightly better luck, defeating their opponents and entering the top 16. After the victory, both sides immediately went to recover from their injuries. The winning side was even more anxious because it had to prepare for the next battle, and obviously the opponent in the next battle would be even more terrifying. The battles were going on one after another, which was indeed very exciting, but no matter how exciting it was not as shocking as the battle between Wuxian Xueji and Shen Kaiyan. Although Na He Taijun easily defeated his opponent, watching Wuxian Xueji with an expression on his face, he didn't seem to care much about the opponent who was said to be the only one who could compete with him, and sneered repeatedly. After 5 battles, the drawing of lots continued. Wu Yu felt that if this continued, it would be his turn soon. Now that the human race was completely suppressed by the Wuxian blood Qai's momentum, he actually wanted to meet the Wuxian blood qi as soon as possible. When the first ball came out, Holy Lord Taixu took a look and announced, "Shushan Immortal Sect, Nangong Wei." In the previous battle, Shushan Immortal Sect had already fought once, but lost to the people from Tian Thunder Palace. Shushan was unlucky this year. Without Shenzhen Jiao, their team seemed to be unable to go far, let alone said he won the championship. However, many people still pay attention to Nangong Wei when she comes on stage, and Wu Yu certainly pays attention to her. To be honest, among the 32 people, Nangong Wei, who is at the 6th level of the Kanghai realm of Zifu, is almost the weakest group. Wu Yu is also worried that he will encounter a more ruthless opponent and that she will be injured. In the midst of everyone's attention, this stunning girl, wearing a fiery red sword robe, with a strong heroic spirit and a stunning beauty, came to the battlefield of Shangxian and attracted everyone's attention. Immediately afterwards, Holy Lord Taixu randomly obtained Nangong Wei's opponent. When he saw the ball, he first glanced at Wu Yu. Wu Yu was shocked. When everyone saw this look, they couldn't help but want to ask, could Nangong Wei's opponent be Wu Yu? This is wonderful. I remember that before the battle between ghosts and gods, Wu Yu defeated the combined forces of Baishan Mo and Nangong Wei at Shushan Immortal Sect. Wu Yu was ready to go on the field, but Holy Master Taixu said, "Demon, Zhu Ying." Wu Yu stopped and realized it was not him. He actually knew why Holy Lord Taixu looked at him. It turned out to be because Nangong Wei's opponent was Zhu Ying. That's a coincidence. Many people know that Wu Yu was expelled from Shushan and the conflict with Nangongwei was because of Zhu. Now, she unexpectedly met the son of her enemy here and fought in person, and Wu Yu could not intervene. This battle is obviously very special to Wu Yu. Zhu didn't expect it to be him. He glanced at Wu Yu, a little unsure of what to do. Wuxian Blood Qi has already won. You can't lose in the first game and embarrass me beside him, the infant emperor glanced at him and said. Zhu knew that this time he was competing with Xuanhuan. Wuxian Blood Qi had an age advantage and was indeed powerful now. But Ying Huang didn't know that he had lost so miserably. At least he could survive the first battle. No problem. Zhu took a deep breath. No matter who his opponent was, he just wanted to win. Therefore, he calmed down and left the battlefield. When she heard that her opponent was Zhu Ying, Nangongwei's expression did change. She looked calm, but also very cold. Although Wu Yu had confidence in Zhu Ying, he was still worried that Nangongwei would go to any length. If that's the case. When the two met on the battlefield, a smell of gunpowder swept through them, followed by a murderous intention of hatred that spread. It's starting over there. Calculating the time, Duoming Shensu felt that it was almost time. They were now at the gate of the Yanhuang Emperor City. Then let's take action, Tianhai Yufuyu said cheerfully. Don't worry, they have to be at the most critical moment before they can leave. However, we have to enter Yanhuang Emperor City first and be ready to take action at any time, Duoming Shensu said. I'll listen to you, Daddy. Tianhai Yufuyu smiled. It's all thanks to the demon ancestor that we can enter the Yanhuang Emperor City. Otherwise, it would be difficult to enter the Yanhuang Emperor City. At this time, the two of them changed their appearances. Miraculously, their appearances changed one after another, and they took out the Yanhuang immortal armor and put it on, as if they were two Yanhuang immortal armor. In fact, before this, they had killed two Yanhuang immortal army soldiers. Now they changed their appearances to the Yanhuang immortal army soldiers they killed. Now they can walk around in the Yanhuang Emperor City with a swagger, and no one will doubt them at all. After all, first, the way of cultivation they need most is the way of the Immortals, so there is not much ghost cultivation on them. Second, Tianhai Yufuyu has been in the Yanhuang Emperor City for so many years, and she is very familiar with every tree and grass in it, and it is even more impossible to reveal any flaws. Even the two people they killed, Tianhai Yufuyu knew them, so even if they walked around the inner city casually, there was basically no problem. The two smiled at each other and went to Yanhuang Emperor City. When they entered the city, they even talked and laughed with the Yanhuang immortal army guarding the city, and could call out everyone's name. Who would doubt them? Tianhai Yufuyu was in Yanhuang Emperor City when she was there, and she had intended to get to know everyone and be familiar with all places. Today, it showed its effect. It was no wonder that Qin Fuwei had such a great reputation in Yanhuang Emperor City. It was easy to enter the outer city, then the inner city, and then return to the camp. They also knew everyone in the inner city camp. The two merged into the inner city, and passed by the city lord's mansion. They smiled at each other, and Duoming Shensu said, "We are ready. Now, we can kill the Yanhuang immortal army little by little to make us stronger. At that time, the two of us will work together. I will contain the Yanhuang city lord, and you will rescue the demon ancestor." This is very simple. Before taking action, they have to use the huge resources of Yanhuang Emperor City to strengthen themselves. Of course they would be very careful when they took action. Yanhuang Emperor City is so big that it is difficult to find hundreds of people disappearing every day. After all, even familiar people would only think that they were in seclusion or out to take on missions. In a few days, this Shenzhou land will be the world of the demon ancestor, and then, the whole world. The two couldn't help but reveal their yearning smiles. The most important thing is that I want to kill the Taixu Saint Lord with my own hands. After laughing, Duomingshenshu's face became gloomy, and his eyes revealed a strong hatred. Nangongwei and Zhuiying confronted each other on the battlefield of the upper immortals. Zhuiying was under pressure from the infant emperor, so he calmed down and aimed to defeat Nangongwei. Of course, because of Wu Yu, he didn't want Nangongwei to get hurt. But it was impossible not to give his all in this Shenzhou Tianlong battle. At this moment, in the confrontation, Zhuiying was not as arrogant as Wuxian Suechi. Without saying a word, he showed Zhuiying's true form in front of everyone. For a moment, the nine-headed demon appeared on the battlefield of the immortals. Now Zhuiying's body has become very strong. Many people saw Zhuiying's true form for the first time. Most people were in awe of this black beast with demonic energy. The appearance of the halo, Luo Bin, the dragon, was beautiful, while Zhuiying, in comparison, seemed too fierce, too bloody, and too cruel, which could easily make people dislike him. In addition, Zhuiying was the son of the infant emperor. Even if he assisted Wu Yu in dealing with the East Xianhuan Palace, most people now had no sense of security towards him. Therefore, they were full of disgust. People certainly hoped that Nangongwei could defeat him. And for Nangongwei, this was the son of an enemy, a life and death enemy. Carrying the hope of the human race to defeat the demons, and the revenge for her mother, Nangongwei at this time has reached an unprecedented limit. Even Wu Yu noticed that she seemed to have undergone a great change. Facing the giant beast Zhuiying, Nangongwei seemed a little insignificant. But at this time, Nangongwei actually made a shocking bird cry, and for a moment, a blazing nine-color flame burned on her body, and the flame soared into the sky. In this flame, people actually saw that Nangongwei's body was changing, from a human, to a bird as big as Zhuiying. Or rather, a phoenix. There will be updates in the evening. I will eat first. I may write a little late, between 11 and 12 o'clock. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 528. Nangongwei's change shocked everyone. At this time, people saw with their own eyes that a real giant beast appeared among the nine-color flames. This was not a phantom, but a real creature with flesh and blood. Nangongwei's change was similar to the transformation of a demon from human form into animal form. It's also a bit like Wu Yu's immortal ape transformation, or Luo Bin showing the true form of a divine dragon. However, Nangongwei is not a demon. Such a change has caused even the absolute powerhouses of Shenzhou present to be shocked. Wu Yu didn't understand at all how she could become a real phoenix. Remember the domain name of this website, Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Yes, this giant bird bathed in nine-color flames is indeed a phoenix. Even with the bright nine-color flames surrounding the outer layer, everyone could still clearly see the true form of the phoenix. Ancient texts record, the phoenix has 6 images and 9 buds. The 6 images are, the head is like the sky, the eyes are like the sun, the back is like the moon, the wings are like the wind, the feet are like the earth, and the tail is like the latitude. The person with 9 buds has a mouth that contains life, a heart that is in harmony, a sharp ear, a stretched tongue, a bright color, a straight red crown, sharp hooks, exciting sounds, and a well-written belly. When it sings, it says Goi 11, when it stops, it says Ti Fu, when it chirps at night, it says Shanzai, when it chirps in the morning, it says congratulations to the world, when it flies, it says Lang Du. The food is only the fruit of sycamore and bamboo. Benevolence, justice, propriety, trust, and wisdom are like a magic circle, shining on the wings of its chest, abdomen, and back. The phoenix is an absolute fairy beast. Since ancient times, its status in the hearts of mortals has been no less than that of the dragon. Mortals often regard dragons and phoenixes as auspicious beasts and children of heaven. Some mortal fairy kingdoms use the dragon as their totem, and some use the dragon as their totem. Phoenix is the totem. No matter in terms of momentum, strength, righteousness, or immortality, Phoenix is no worse than Shenlong. In the world of Yanfu, there has always been a clan of phoenix beasts. Although it does not occupy the sea area and is as powerful as the dragon, it has not suffered heavy losses from the heaven-swallowing demon ancestor. Compared with the dragon, the phoenix beasts live in a paradise, without disputes, and more ethereal. But at this moment, the giant bird that appeared in front of everyone was no different from the rumored phoenix in any aspect. In other words, this is the real phoenix. It's a fairy beast. Minglong was also very interested, so he came out at this time and said, "Your little concubine is not bad. She has completely awakened the bloodline of the phoenix immortal beast in her body and successfully returned to her ancestors. This situation is really rare. Her ancestors had the bloodline of the phoenix. It might be that the phoenix and the ascetic gave birth to offspring. Although she was a human, she still had the blood of the phoenix. However, by her generation, the bloodline was already very thin. She could only rely on this bloodline to slightly change the shape of the phoenix. But it is definitely not as large as it is now, and has even undergone very stable changes. This is a successful return to the ancestors. Now the phoenix bloodline in her body has accounted for the majority. In other words, she has at least 90%, is no different from a phoenix fairy beast. In other words, she has become a fairy beast. Even if she still has some bloodline flaws, it doesn't matter. The Zilong and Ilong also have some flaws. Novel. Atavism. Wu Yu was confused when he heard this, but according to Ming Long's meaning, Nangong Wei had undergone an incredible transformation, completely raising the level of his life, and actually successfully returned to his ancestors from a human and became a fairy beast. In the history of Shenzhou, this is an incredible thing that has almost never happened. Obviously, her future will be even more incredible after becoming the phoenix immortal beast. Even Tianxi's sword immortal is not the end of it. Originally, Baishan Mo was better than her, but now, in terms of talent, she will probably be crushed by Nangong Wei. Why did she have such a change? The chance of such a change is very low, right? Successful return to the ancestors, Wu Yu asked confused. Ming Long said, it is indeed very low. After all, this is a human becoming an immortal beast. Not to mention Shenzhou, there are only a few in the history of the world of Jambu that I know about. They are indeed very rare. As for why she can succeed, then I don't know. This is actually fate. Some things can't be explained clearly, but they just happened. Maybe it has something to do with her change in mood, maybe she has some fortune that you don't know about, etc. Anyway, you could have stayed away. You want to get rid of her and go get that dragon, but now that she has become a phoenix, she also has the capital to chase you. It's not that easy for you to get rid of her. Let me just say, love debt is not that big. Easy to pay back. Ming Long said very excitedly, but Wu Yu was not what she said. If Nangong Wei had such a good fortune, he could only be happy for her. From this point of view, Nangong Wei at this time has indeed exceeded her limit. You can tell by looking at Qiang Jiangxian's face. Maybe he knows that he can't take revenge now, but Nangong Wei miraculously got this day, so one day, revenge is possible. In fact, many people didn't know what was going on. At this time, they were asking Qiang's sword immortal and the others. Nangong Xian naturally knew, so it spread. At this time, everyone knew that Nangong Wei had successfully returned to his ancestors in an unprecedented way. With Nangong Wei here, it can only be said that the Shushan immortal sect in the future will be full of unimaginable things. Of course, Zhu felt an unprecedented pressure when he faced off against the newly born phoenix immortal beast. He thought this was a relatively easy battle to win. At this time, Nangong Wei is completely like a phoenix. She possesses the enthusiasm, arrogance, dignity, and even sanctity of a phoenix. She is unattainable and unreachable by mortals. She is solemn, has the absolute domineering power of the king of birds, and is the leader. The peerless overlord of birds, these are all brought by blood. Its enthusiasm are in contrast to the evil and disaster of Zhuang. At this time, Nangongwei no longer paid any attention to Wu Yu's gaze. Maybe she deliberately didn't want to pay attention to Wu Yu, or maybe she really didn't care at this time. Obviously, at this moment, all her thoughts were on defeating Zhuang. When the crowd was boiling for Nangongwei, the battle between the two giant beasts really broke out. Wuxian Blood Qi defeated Shen Kaoyan, which made the Shenzhou cultivators lose face. Now the second demon finally came on the stage, and it was the son of the first demon king. When Nangongwei showed her blood and means against the sky, people placed their hopes on Nangongwei. The beast of Zhuang and the phoenix fairy beast are actually the top bloodlines. Now it seems that the phoenix is even higher in bloodline. After all, it is a synonym for sacredness. Buzz. As the king of birds, when the phoenix flew, the 9-color flames swept everywhere, and a crisp bird cry controlled the whole audience under its mind. Phoenix versus Zhuang. Between the two, the most powerful is undoubtedly the innate magical power. They also represent the mortal enemies of Shushan Xianmen and Endless Demon Sea. Especially Nangongwei, who is undoubtedly the greatest hope of Shushan Xianmen at this time. Her strength in such a state is really incredible. The bird calls and beast roars are simply piercing the eardrums of ordinary disciples. In this kind of confrontation, the ordinary disciples of Shangyuan Dao sect retreated one after another, leaving more fighting space for the two giant beasts. Even the warships and giant swords above rose a lot, leaving more flying space. After all, the phoenix and Zhuang have wings or flesh wings, and basically they are flying and fighting, which requires more space. Disaster Vortex. Zhuang appeared and shot, and the 9 heads sprayed out thick fog, which were 9 kinds of disaster power, each of which seemed to come from 10,000 hells. In a blink of an eye, a 9-turn vortex was formed. This grey vortex was extremely huge and descended above the phoenix transformed by Nangongwei. It enveloped it in a short time. In the vortex, 9 kinds of disaster power corroded everything. When rolling, it was as if the 9-headed beast was wreaking havoc. For Nangongwei, it was like the sky was covering her. The aura of disaster swept across the entire battlefield of the Immortals, causing the flowers, plants, and trees to wither and shrink to varying degrees, and even the rocks and land became charred under the grey fog. However, in the face of such a disaster, Nangongwei's face remained unchanged, still with the solemn nobility of the immortal beast, and the confidence that was simply indestructible. At this moment, Nangongwei spread her wings, and the colorful wings flapped 9 times in a row. Every time they flapped, it was as if a layer of waves expanded invisibly, not only engulfing the vortex of disaster, but also covering the entire battlefield of the Immortals in this range. This is Nangongwei's magical power, the 9-layer divine fire domain. He had used this magical power to attack Wu Yu before, but the scale was completely different from now. One was in the sky and the other was on the ground. In an instant, the 9-layer divine fire domain took shape, engulfing Zhuang and the vortex of disaster. It was the 9-layer flame, which was continuously blocked. In the 9-layer divine fire domain, Zhuang wanted to cover the vortex of disaster on Nangongwei and engulf her in the vortex of disaster. That was not easy. At the same time, the existence of the 9-layer divine fire domain obscured everyone's sight to a certain extent. At this time, it was not so easy to see the battle between Zhuang and Nangongwei clearly, which made Wu Yu a little nervous. Now Nangongwei's strength was uncertain. If she started the battle with the purpose of killing Zhuang, Zhuang would be in a certain life crisis. If Nangongwei killed Zhuang, the consequences were unimaginable. However, he could not intervene. Fortunately, there was the infant emperor, who should not let such a thing happen. Only at this point, he had no reason not to believe that Nangongwei had the ability to defeat Zhuang, especially in terms of spirit. Nangongwei had reached a very terrifying level, She was growing very fast, no one could stop her from rising at this moment. After the 9-layer divine fire domain, the 9-colored phoenix was flying wildly in the divine fire, rolling up the sky with anger, and Zhuiying was trapped in the 9-layer divine fire domain, but never came out. The gate of hell. Suddenly, the vast divine fire was torn open, and in the opening, a grey force could be seen, growing, erupting, tearing, and opening a gate of hell. The 9 heads of Zhuiying were arranged up and down, left and right, roughly forming a circular gate. The magical imprint emerged, and all kinds of lines accumulated, and suddenly a truly ancient and gloomy gate was formed in these 9 heads. Sorry, I am too sleepy to write here, and I can't write one chapter. I will try to update more in the next few days, thank you.